Lesson 11. Almost there! In the 11th tutorial, having fully completed our project, we'll learn how to handle win and lose events, create win and lose dialogues, and use the handler for processing messages from threads. You'll be able to create conditions for the player's win or lose events and add music or graphic effects to the game. In this lesson, we will handle winning and losing events, create winning and losing dialogues, and learn how to send messages from the secondary thread to the main thread. In the first place, to handle messages from a separate thread, the surface view uses a separate thread for drawing. Then we have to create a handler in the game activity, which will catch the message, and then, depending on the message, we'll do a particular function. Create the handler. Please note that it must be final, as it will be called by all various processes. Next, we rewrite the handle message method, where we will catch the messages that were sent from the other threads. In order to recognize the messages, we will create them as separate variables. The update score variable is equal to 0. If we get 0 value, then we have to update the score. One means that the ship has crashed, and 2 means that we lost. We'll explain later why this division is made. Now, let's catch the message. We need to create a condition. If the message is equal to our score, then we need to update the score. Therefore, we will create a separate function for it, such as I_get_coin. Now we create this method in the game activity. So, what do we have to do in I_get_coin? First, in the game activity, we add variables that will be responsible for the collected coins and the score. We set the initial value to 0 for them. As a result, we got the coin. Then we add the number of get points to the score value for a specified number of points. At the time, we have 200. We assume that we get 200 points for each coin. Next, we create the conditions for winning. To win, we need to have the number of coins equals 2. At the moment, we set it, so we can test it later. In this case, we'll call it the I_win function. Then we create the I_win method, which we will describe later. For now, let's go back to the messages. Next, if we got the message that we crashed, a death, then we have to play an animation of the explosion. So, we use the post-delayed and new runnable. We send to the handler in a 3-second delay that we lost. Finally, we catch the last message when we lost. In this case, we call it the I_lose function. Let's create this function in a class of game activity. What should be done here, we will do later. Now, we make the score panel that displays the player's points. We do it dynamically. Here, we added a layer of relative layout and set the background to it. Then, we set gravity in the center and the size. In addition, we set the current exposition, text, and the font. Now we move on to the game panel, and we'll send the messages from the main thread. We do the update, and here, where the messages get coins and the loss should be sent, we create the message and send to the handler. Then we will use the background manager to find our panel bm.game_panel and thread. As we did not set the game panel, we pass it to the main game class when we create the game panel. Here is our game. It was not saved quite yet, so we saved it. And then we create a variable and initialize it. Now we can access the game and our handler. Then there is a message. And we got the coin, and our message is 0. Next, we send the message from the handler. Also, we do the same with the collision. We pass the death value. This value is 1. Then we set the message and send it to the game activity. Now it's time to add the methods, such as I_get_coin, I_lose, and I_win. So, we have to play the sound when we receive the coin, I_get_coin. To do this, we create a media player. Let's call it MP. And we create it from the resources. Then we pass to the first parameters our game_this, and we pass to the second parameters the identifier to the resource. After we set the variable, we type to start playing our sound. We do this in the same way that we did for the ship explosion. For this, we move on to the game panel, and in Update method, where we check for collision with other barriers, and if we collided with the barrier, we add a variable to the media player, and as the first parameter, we pass the game, because the game is kept in this variable. Then we select Explosion Resource, and also we run the media player. In the I_lose and I_win methods, we should display winning and losing dialogues. Now we prepare XML for the dialog windows. Now we move on to the resources and layout folders. Similarly, we create a new XML and XML dialogs. Now, when we created 2 XMLs for loss and win, we will place them in the game activity in onCreate method, as we have done with other elements. For this, at the top where we declared all the variables, we also declare winning and losing views. Then, we set these values in the onCreate method. We will do it through Layout Inflator, which was already declared and created, so we just set it. We placed the dialogues and created XMLs. And we also assigned the listeners for the buttons to go to the main menu in both dialogues. Now we just need to display these dialogues when we will need to. We go into the I_lose method, and here we have to stop the game and put it on pause and display the lose dialogue. We set the visible value to an invisible one, and we do the same for the I_win method. Here, we also have to stop the game and put it on pause and to display the win dialogue. We set it to visible. We can run the application and see how the dialogues will be displayed and the sounds will be played. Let's start a new game. We got one. Here, a program gave us the win menu. Next, we try to play, and we lost. Now, let's move on to the music. We really need some music in your application. To do this, we create a general media player in the game activity variables. This player will be responsible for all playing background music in the game activity. Let's call it main music. Initially, when we create a game activity, we set a value to create a media player. First, it will play action music in the game. The first parameter is game_this, and the second parameter is music from the raw folder. Then we select the music. Next, in order that we will not scare the user by a very loud starting music, we set the volume to a value of 0.3, but you can choose what the volume is set to at your own discretion. After that, we start the background music. Here is another peculiarity. Always turn off the background music so that when the user quits the application, it will not continue to play. For this, in onStop method, we will check if the media player main music plays now, and if it is, we stop it. Now we move on to the I_lose method, and here we will also check whether it plays at the moment. Then we stop it and assign the main music value. Next, we create the media player and set the parameters game_this. And then we select the resource. It will be r.raw and lose. Next, we start playing the music.
Do the same thing with the I_win method. You can even just copy a piece of code and change only the win resource. Alright, we set the music for the game, and let's do it in the main menu. We create a media player variable and called it main menu music. Then we initialize it in onCreate method, and it's called similarly to the media player created. Here we specify main_menu_this, and the resource from which we play the music is chosen as main. As to the playback, if we put the playback in onCreate method, then music starts playing automatically during the game changeover to the main menu, because the main menu is already created. Also, it will not be recreated, and therefore, we are not going to place the playback in the onCreate method. However, we will create an onStart method, and we will be setting the volume in this method. We set the same as 0.3 and 0.3. Then we start playing the music. Then, we will stop the music in onStop method. We will check whether our music is played. It is playing, and then we stop it. Here are some corrections. We will move the initialization of the main menu music to the onStart method. So each time when the activity starts, the main menu would download itself with the right music. Well, now we run the game. We run it and hear the music. Now we will try to win once, and to lose ones accordingly, and listen to the music. Here, the main music is playing. And then here goes the winning music. Now we move to the main menu, and we click on Start Game, and we try to lose now. We just lost, and we hear the lost music. That means that the music is done right. Next, we will add one more thing in the game activity for our convenience. When we click on the back button, the user will go to the main menu instead of the pause menu. To prevent this, we will create an on-back pressed method. In this method, we will implement the same steps that were involved when you click on the pause button. You can copy it completely. We'll show the pause menu and set the pause. Here is the last line. If we do not remove it, it will return us to the menu. We remove it. Now we can check it. Everything should work. We click on Start, and then click on the back button. And we get the main menu. Now we have to take care of the animation buttons because they look dead. When we click on them, nothing happens. Now we will do them. We go to the main menu. We already created the on-touch listener buttons. Now it is useful to us. What do? We create a switch and ask the event what action is happening now. And then we monitor the value. If we have the motion event action down when we put a finger, then it is image button. We set image resource and indicate drawable pressed position. Namely, when it is pressed, it changes its image. Next, if we lift a finger, then it is action up. With action up, we must return to its original state. And if we simply lift the finger, namely we started pressing it and we realized we do not need it now, action_outside, we return the button to a normal state. Also, if we have a default value, we will return the button to the normal position. Now, let's see how it will look on the main menu. press it, we see the menu button. We are moving outside of the area, and then we press the button, and after the changeover, the button goes off. Now we have to do the same thing for each button. We need to create the same on-touch listener, but we will do this a little bit differently. We will create a class that will inherit this on-touch listener interface, and we will pass it to image view. It will know to which button it should change the image. It does not take much time to write it, so let's write it now. We will leave this part for now, and we will create a new set of on-touch listeners. And here, we indicate new touch button class, as well as here, we indicate to the image view that we need to change. The development environment tells us that there is not such a class, but we can create it. Here we see that it indicates on-touch listener interface. This is what we need. We click on Finish, and our class has created. We now have our own class, and we write the image view variable that will be stored in its own class. Here we set it and create the constructor, and we set the image view on it. After that, in the onTouch method, we duplicate what we created in the main menu. We duplicated it. Now we change some variables here, and here is our image. As a result, we have a separate class. Here, we do not need that, and there is only one line. We assigned the button. This touch listener will change the button state. Now, run the application and see how it'll work. As you see, it works just fine. Now we set the same touch listener to all buttons. To do this, we move to the game activity, and in onCreate method, we see what buttons we have when we create all that. You should note, our pause button is not image view because it is inside. So, we need to initialize the image view variable that we will pass to touch listener. For example, this will be the pause image equals pause button find view by ID. And now in XML pause, we see what ID our picture has. We did not set it before, but we'll go ahead and set it now. The ID is set, and now we can find it by this ID.
Next, we indicate that this is image view. And now when we assign the on-click listener to the pause button, we also assign and set the on-touch listener. And then we indicate image view here, which we will change when we touch our button. We do the same thing for all buttons, namely they are the continue button and back button to the main menu. Now we set this to the continue button and the main menu button. Then we pass it ourselves. Also, we need to add all that in our dialogues, such as the winning and losing dialogue. Now our application will look beautiful. Let's start it and see how it will be working. We start the game and press the pause button and then the continue button, and we are losing. The button works. And now we won. Here's a last little touch. When we saw the last moment, there appeared a bunch of artifacts below, namely where the background meets with the barriers. And these barriers came out a little bit fuzzy, because the resources of our background are a little less than the height of the screen. To fix it, we go to Draw Method in the Game panel, and we fill the canvas with a black color. Now we will not have these artifacts, and everything will be displayed correctly and properly. Let's start the game. It is starting, and we see that there are not any artifacts in the bottom. And we won the game. This lesson is finished. In the next and final lesson, we will publish our application on Google Play, and we consider adding it to the store. Everything's beginning to wrap up, so keep that energy going and let's make sure to finish strong.